up, everybody? It's another freaking crazy week out there. You're not crazy. I'm not crazy. They are, I promise. Trust us. We're going to show you some stuff. Amazon is shutting people's products off if they might have said something racist. Get ready for that. They're showing their chests at the White House on the White House lawn. It's become Girls Gone Wild. American education is in decline. Is it even worth a degree today? And then we've got a special guest on today, Brett Pike with Homeschools Connected. Stick around.
I would love to get your reaction on this article that I found, this crazy story.
Okay.
That you won't even believe it's happening here. I want to introduce it with this. Jeff, can you pull up this video about would you replace your regular switch with a smart switch? That's the last one on the Discord. Now I want you to watch this.
This is a standard light switch. This is a smart home control. This is my favorite feature to install in the new builds that I do now because it is so simple. It's so cool to do. This switch allows me to control my entire home from my phone. Switch on, switch off, and then camera, which is built into the switch right here. And then, of course, I can control my heating and air from here and so on and so forth. So for something that is so easy to connect and yet so simple to control, this is a great selling feature for the homes that I build now.
If you're on the left.
Now, this is nothing against this particular creator. Let's just put that. This is just the subject of that. So, thoughts?
Yeah, no way. No way. I knew I was never going to automate things as soon as I saw in Colorado or Texas, wherever it was, or California, where the Nest was like, oh, sorry, you've opted into the whatever agreement where you're trying to go green initiative or whatever for a lower payment every month. So therefore you can't go past a certain degree.
It's like 78.
It was like 78 degrees and it was the hottest balls outside. Yeah. So as soon as I saw that, look, I'm not a fellow who's willing to sweat for, not going to happen. So no way, number one. Number two, if you're on the left, all of this is totally fine right now because you're okay being and living in the cubicle because you think the government has your best interest in mind. I'm not saying everybody who's on the left is an idiot, but I'm not an idiot and have looked at history this much and have realized if you give corporations or governments control of that much stuff, like you have to go get it back. And so like eventually, like, look, if you don't think what I'm saying is true, remember COVID. There was a party that was happening in California, right? They threatened to shut off the water and the electricity to this party that was happening in California. And then they did shut off the electricity. They shut off the electricity to a party that was happening because it wasn't a state sanctioned party in the United States, bro.
Unbelievable.
It's going to happen so fast and nobody's going to even bat their eyes. They're just going to scare the crap out of you first so that you're not that mad about it. But you should actually be mad about it anyway. So that's going to happen. And that's why I can never automate too many things. I won't say what. I bought a robot of some sort for my house. I'm going to say it's a robot vacuum and it's fucking amazing. Okay, I got to say it. It was expensive as crap, but it was amazing. That is the only automated thing I plan to have on my house is that thing. Go ahead.
I want to read you this. Then
right.
now
is this the article?
This is the article.
Okay, go
Jeff,
for it.
If you want to bring up this article, A Tale of Unwanted Disruption, just so that people can see it, you don't have to follow with me.
Also, Gavin Newsom during that same time period was out eating at French restaurants with all friends unmasked.
All right next to each other.
Right next to each other. All of them unmasked.
Health commissioner. I think one of them was with the health commissioner too.
Right.
Ironically. After
so I just had to mention that because Jeff brought it up. Yep.
Yeah. All right. On Wednesday, May 31st, 2023, I finally regained access to my Amazon account after an unexpected and unwarranted lockout that lasted nearly a week from Thursday, May 25th. This wasn't just a simple inconvenience, though. I have a smart home, and my primary means of interfacing with all devices and automations is through Amazon Echo devices via Alexa. This incident left me without a house full of unresponsive devices, a silent Alexa, and a lot of questions. Unpacking... But wait.
It gets better.
unpacking the cause. The sequence of events that led to this digital exile began innocuously enough. A package was delivered to my house Wednesday 24th, and everything seemed fine. The following day, however, I found that my Echo Show had signed out, and I was unable to interact with my smart home devices. My initial assumption was that someone might have attempted to access my account repeatedly, triggering a lockout. I use a fairly old email address for my Amazon account, and it's plausible that an old password might have been exposed in the past data breach. However, I currently use strong auto-generated password via Apple and employ two-factor authentication with an authenticator app, so unauthorized access seemed unlikely. I swiftly checked my other accounts, social media, blah, 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 to ensure I hadn't been compromised. All seemed normal with no flood or notifications from Microsoft Authenticator that would indicate an attempted breach. Puzzled, I followed the advice of the Amazon app and dialed the customer service it provided. That's when things began to take a surreal turn. An unexpected accusation. The representative told me I should have received an email, which I indeed found in my inbox. It was from an executive at Amazon. As I dialed the number provided in the email, I half wondered if Amazon was experiencing some issues and I was unwittingly falling into a scam. When I connected with the executive, they asked if I knew why my account had been locked. When I answered, I was unsure their tone turned somewhat accusatory. I was told that the driver who had delivered my package reported receiving racist remarks from my Ring doorbell. It's actually Eufy, but I'll let that slide.
Whoa, this is getting crazy.
Addressing the problem. Here's where things got even more baffling. First, I have multiple cameras recording everything that happens on my property. If the driver claims were accurate, I could easily verify them with video footage. Second, most delivery drivers in my area share the same race as me and my family. It seemed highly unlikely that we would make such remarks. Finally, when I asked what time the alleged incident occurred, I realized it was practically impossible for anyone in my house to have made those comments, as nobody was home around the time, approximately 6:05 p.m. I reviewed the footage and confirmed that no such comments had been made. Instead, the Eufy doorbell had issued an automated response. "Excuse me, can I help you?" The driver, who was walking away and wearing headphones, must have misinterpreted the message. Nevertheless, by the following day, my Amazon account was locked and all my Echo devices were logged out. Let me be clear. I fully support Amazon taking measures. Oh, this is a wokey.
Whoa.
I fully support Amazon taking measures to ensure the safety of their drivers. However, I question why my entire smart home system had to be rendered unusable during their entire internal investigation. It seems more sensible to impose a temporary delivery restriction or purchasing ban on my account. Why would you even submit to that?
Are you kidding? Yeah, you just gave up so much control, you idiot.
Right.
Oh, God, it's hard to even think about. I need a second before we continue. Oh my God, this is like Minority Report. Guys, why did you turn off my water? Why did you turn off my pills? I didn't do anything wrong. It was a mistake. What did you do wrong? Right. Get back in the cage. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, no, wait. What? You purchased something and it ensnared you in a way that you are giving them authority for while explaining your response to this. Going, I understand that if I did say something racist, that you should have been able to take all my shit. What? No. Not in America. You can be a racist asshole and people can call you that, but they can't take your shit because you're a racist asshole. That's called theft.
This is insane. And the funniest part is it was an automated voice message. It wasn't
even them. Right.
Oh my gosh.
Can I help you? Okay, keep going.
Submitting video evidence from multiple angles right after my initial call with the executive appeared to have little impact on their decision to disable my account. So couldn't even fight for it. The fallout. This incident was...
So what is this control in her house?
Everything. I think it's a dude. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's a black dude. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, it is.
It's a black dude. Yeah, it's a black dude.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. So, oh, my gosh.
Because he said all the delivery drivers are the same colors as me.
Well, I mean, I don't assume what the delivery drivers' demographics are going to be. But it's crazy.
But here's the reason that wouldn't have mattered. If a white guy would have been called a cracker, this would have never made a ripple any kind of way. So that's why I knew he was black, because that's the only thing that would have triggered anything, is saying something against a black person.
Then that's even worse, because it's like, it's like you're looking for racism to make a complaint because it looks like they went through the process of making a formal complaint that reached all the way to the executive level in Amazon. That's the problem too, is that our young people, millennials, Gen Z, whatever, are like looking to be offended by something.
Right.
That it seems like he had his headphones in and misunderstood what the Ring doorbell camera
Right. He probably thought
message.
It was just like, can I help you or something? And he's just like, why are they always accusing me of stuff because I'm a delivery driver? Maybe he had a bad day.
Oh, yeah, or like he misheard something.
All right, read this. Keep going. I'm intrigued now. I want to know.
Let's see. Okay. The fallout. This incident has led me to question my relationship with Amazon. After nearly a decade of loyalty, I've been given a harsh reminder that a misunderstanding can lead to such drastic measures. It seems more reasonable to handle such issues in a more compartmentalized way rather than a blanket shutdown of all services. Due to this experience, I am seriously considering discontinuing my use of Amazon Echo devices and will caution others about this incident. This ordeal has made a case of more personalized home assistant system, perhaps utilizing Raspberry Pi devices scattered around the house. I don't know what that means. The resolution, despite promptly submitting video evidence immediately upon learning of the issue, my account remained locked. The timing couldn't have been worse. The onset of Labor Day weekend was approaching, and I was keen to resolve the issue before the long weekend. However, despite numerous calls and emails, it wasn't until Friday afternoon that I received confirmation that the investigation had started. I was told to expect a response within 2 business days, meaning not until Tuesday of the following week at the earliest. In the end, my account was unlocked on Wednesday with no follow-up email to inform me of the resolution. This incident stands as a stark reminder for the need for better customer service and a more nuanced approach to incident management. Wow. I mean, I'll read the rest. Through sharing my experience, I hope to encourage Amazon to reform and rethink their approach to handling such situations in the future. It's essential for customers to feel confident in the security and reliability of their services, especially when those services are integral to the functionality of their homes. It's time for Amazon to take a more customer-focused approach to problem solving and conflict resolution.
Yeah, I mean, that's the softest way to possibly say that. You know what I mean? Like, you've elected to be in a cage.
A corporation. That was a corporation.
Right, did that to you.
That said, oh, we perceived, what if they decided,
we perceived that you sinned and then shut off your necessary components for your life.
Right, because lights.
In response.
Lights were probably lights, air conditioning.
Right, I think he says he wasn't truly in the dark underneath there or whatever, but that doesn't matter. Fast forward 2 years.
Right.
Fast forward right now, I'm sure somebody's house does have this. And if this incident did occur and there was actually a racist or something, they would be like, oh my God, that's the sin that's above all other sins. But legally, it's not, guys. You're allowed to be racist. You shouldn't be. It's stupid to be. If you want to be proven how dumb you are, then continue thinking that people's skin tone defines their value to an actual community. That's just a dumb way to think, just practically. But like, I don't know, man. Like, this is nuts.
It is crazy.
But the fact that this person's not more outraged and going, hang on a second, this whole system seems like they could really wrangle us all in relatively quickly if we take this 2 steps further in a logical path of thinking. You know, that's what everybody should be thinking was, you know, it's like, imagine one person tried to get out and your entire city had a big bubble that came across it. And all of us just realized, oh my God, we are in a big ass prison. What the heck was that? It just shut us all. Like, that's what this was.
Yeah.
They just turned off your access to things.
There's smart locks. Have you seen the smart locks on a commercial on YouTube?
Yes.
Hey, Alexa, unlock front door. Da, da, da. Like, crazy.
Crazy, bro.
Crazy.
Never.
And he was just, they just need better customer service. The fact everyone should be outraged and scared.
He must not have kids.
I don't know. It doesn't say or anything like that.
Well, he must not have kids, or it must not have been that important of a feature for them to turn off, because like, if you've got kids and then they turned off like your lighting system, you'd be like, all right, whose house do I have to burn down to get this thing to come back on? I got kids. I mean, I got stuff to worry about.
And the fact that it was guilty until proven innocent. Too.
Right. Just like the wokies, dude. I
mean, that story blew me away. And how much they push this auto automation, the Alexa. I mean, I've seen God, hundreds of commercials for Alexa this, and now Alexa can control that and this. And all they had to do was just get an unsubstantiated complaint that you were saying something racist or
without video proof or nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, you're guilty.
I mean, I was blown away. I'm blown away by his nonchalance about it. And how it's like, oh, they just need better customer service. I'm just blown away by the entire situation. That wasn't even allowed. How did somebody in HR, whoever cleared that, like, oh yeah, let's shut this.
Let's log them out of all their stuff.
How was that even like?
What?
Nobody said, wait a minute now. And what happens if it just keeps going? What happens when it becomes like pointing out somebody's hair texture or color just becomes racist? Because you notice certain things.
I mean, that's already there.
Right.
You could say anything's racist at this point. He was looking at me weird. I could tell.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it turns out he was blind. He was looking at your neighbor, but it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Well, guys, this whole entire thing is why I've joined Public Square and why your business should be on it. They are going to be the next Amazon. They are attempting to do that, and they've got a crap ton of steam behind them. If you haven't already put your business in there, you're missing out. Put your business in there. You click the link in my bio. I'll help you do it. I'll get your name in there. You'll get more business. Don't lose money. Do it. It's conservative. But it's not even meant to be. It's not even technically a conservative business, but the owners are absolute conservatives, believers in everything. But they're just trying to make it like an actual parallel Amazon, and they're doing a pretty good job getting everything developed. So join it.
The way that happens, so I felt like a story like this would be at least 5 years away. I would have seriously thought this story would have been at least 5 years away.
Yeah, they turned off my stuff because I farted, and one of them could tell.
Right.
What is this?
On a misunderstanding. Right.
It wasn't even a true offense.
Right.
But you were guilty.
Right. He was guilty. And it was funny, he was black too.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, everything's collapsing. We know it now. Show this video of the White House lawn, Jeff.
Thank you. Can we take a little video? Hi, Mr. President. It is an honor. Trans rights are human rights.
Are we topless at the White House?
Oh my gosh, bro. Are we topless at the White House? So ashamed, bro. Like, you just defiled the whole entire United States, bro.
How? That's just disgusting too. There's families there. If a biological woman were to have done that, I would be outraged.
Oh my God, yes.
That is disgusting.
Yeah, like this is so far beyond. Like you're basically doing. Remember those old shows? What was the Girls Gone Wild or whatever that would always come on at 11 p.m. trying to get you to go buy the stupid thing.
Yeah.
It would all like this is like they just did Girls Gone Wild on the White House lawn. If you actually believe that's a girl
for a presidential event. At
a presidential event, bro. Where the gay flag was above, or the pride flag. It's not even gay. It's not about gay. It's a whole nother thing. It's our entire religion. Yeah. And it was above the American flags, bro. This is getting so far.
We're turning
that
into
everybody, if voting matters, everybody's going to be voting for Trump.
We're turning into like literally a biblical story, because now look what it's about. Pride, literal pride, and narcissistic pride about just you, me, everybody celebrate me. Oh, we should play this other video about the
bring that up actually
on Mother's Day.
Jeff, bring the green-haired dragon up.
Yeah, that's the one. The Young America's Foundation, and also the celebration of the flesh. That was the first thing they thought of. Let's take off our clothes and go like this with our boobs and just strip.
Right.
That's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about your accomplishments, what you may have served and done for humanity or for your community or any type of...
Right. No, you're just a lewd, raunchy person, attempting to... Yeah, like this is perversion. Yeah. This is perversion.
Look at this video right
here.
And
it's so sad that it came from the White House lawn, because I'm pretty sure that's indecent exposure. Maybe not if you're covering it with your hands.
Yeah, I guess
know.
Covering with the hands, but still.
And the other two girls that had their boobs cut out, they were still boobs. I don't know how that works, but I want to meet those people when they're 60 if they live that long and be like, how's it going?
I mean, they say some of these people are in their 20s and with like severe osteoporosis because these hormones aren't meant to go and switch bodies. Like, it's not. I feel so bad for some of these young people and just the damage it's doing to their bodies. because they weren't,
I just think about how much damage just existing in the United States does to your bodies if you're not on defense against the stuff that's in the food and all that, like the dye. And
that's true.
I mean, Russia just banned corn and wheat and soy from corn and soy from the USA. They're like, we're not taking it anymore.
Good.
It's like, what you guys, you think they just did that because they wanted to be mean? No, they did it because it's probably bad. You know what I mean? Like, what are you eating all the time? No wonder you feel like crap. So that plus you're on all these pharmaceuticals, plus you're chopping off parts of your body. Like, bro, come on. This is obviously not good for people.
Right. Jeff, bring up the green-haired man video.
There's 2 different days in the year that I question. There's Mother's Day and there's Father's Day.
Yeah.
As a trans person, as a trans woman, which one do I celebrate?
What a predicament.
Father's Day rolled around. I don't feel like a father. Mother's Day is tomorrow. I feel like a mom.
You're not, though.
Who celebrates me? It's not a situation of pity me or anything.
Oh, of course not.
I just genuinely want to know, is there other people out there that you don't know which one you fall under? Are you a mom? Are you a dad?
I can see how that could be confusing.
Why can't we just have a Parents' Day? Like, you're a parent, that's worth celebrating. Why does it have to be one or the other?
Is he serious?
It actually bothers me a lot. I didn't think about that till today, and I don't know. There's 2 different days in the year that I question.
First of all, whoever did the editing for them,
good job.
Great job.
Great edit.
But
what a crazy situation, bro. Like, where are we at, dude? Where are we at?
What more? Do you see how narcissistic it is?
Right.
So, what about me? What do I more celebrating me? You have a whole fucking month.
Yeah, bro.
And then we do it all year anyway.
Yeah, and then we do it all year anyway.
What the fuck more do they want? What more do I'm like, like from the movie The Notebook?
Yes.
What more do you want? I don't know. Yeah, like that.
What do you want? Yeah,
what do you want? Seriously.
Right. What more could you get?
Narcissistic. It's so narcissistic.
Yeah. So what do we have to do? We have to ruin it for mothers and ruin it for fathers, and then we'll have a Parents' Day. Why? For you.
For you. Right.
Although 95+% of the population is not you. Right. And this person might not say right now, but they will say probably in the future that maybe there shouldn't be a Mother's Day or a Father's Day. Maybe right now they won't say that.
I feel like it's funny that you say that.
But they've said that already.
Yeah, he was alluding to that. Yes.
What a selfish, like just position of thought. And all of this, man, all of this is just selfish. But what's interesting is they do this to destroy a country, outside forces, because afterwards, if you notice all the countries that have already been conquered and no longer actually have freedom in them, the entire ideology of the collective is they are only a collective. They are expendable, which is why in China, if there's a little girl in the middle of the street and she's laying down, people just step over her. They're like, you're one of the herd. Like, we're all supposed to serve this other mission. I don't have time to help you because you're not the most important. The herd and the goal of the owner is the most important.
Right.
Like,
the individualism is taken away.
Yeah, there is no individualism. They empower individualism.
But this is sold as individualism.
Right. It's sold, and that's the place it's supposed to become. Like that. This is where it's safe for everybody in the utopia, and it's like, bro.
Right. No, I know. It's
there's a
crazy.
balance. What other stuff? Oh yeah, show that clip from yeah, you can show that one. I guess This Is Wild one. Let's watch that.
Yeah, I thought you'd be interested in this.
Let's see it.
I am not even surprised. Listen to this.
You want to hear a really wild stat, though?
Yeah.
We are at 193 countries, I believe we are number 3 in gun violence. Okay? But if you were to take the 5 cities where there is the most gun violence, Chicago, Philly, I think Houston, Chicago, Philly, Detroit.
St. Louis.
I don't know if it's LA, but I think it is LA.
Just sheer numbers.
Yep. LA. So it's all these cities. If you were to take out the cities and they all have the strictest gun controls. So it's St. Louis, Detroit, it's Chicago, it's Philadelphia, and I think it's Los Angeles. And they have the very, very tight gun laws. Keep in mind, they are blue. I'm just saying, but if you were to take them out of the equation, we would not be the third, we would be the 189th.
Wow.
That's pretty significant.
I don't know if it's, I have to go look at the numbers on that. I have to go look at the stats on that. I don't think he's wrong, but I think I've seen some people arguing against that particular portion. But
look at Memorial Day weekend in Chicago.
Oh, well, you're not telling me anything. Like, look, gang violence is the number one thing. And where does gang violence seem to thrive? In blue cities. Period. Like, I mean, look.
The strictest gun laws, too.
Name a city you wouldn't want to walk through with your wife at night. that city is probably a Democrat city.
Good point.
Memphis, Detroit,
Memphis
Chicago,
is a bad way.
Baltimore, Portsmouth, Norfolk. You know what I'm saying? Like all these different places, it's all Democrats. You know what I mean? It's like nobody wants to go walking around these places anymore.
Wow.
And it's because look at the DAs that George Soros is putting in.
Yes.
They're not prosecuting crime, dude.
Look what happened. Did you see what happened in St. Louis?
No.
The DA, she just quit, right? Just quit. And when they went to say, okay, well, we gotta come in temporary DA, over almost 5,000 arrest warrants untouched. Violent offenders, violent people who are still out on the street because she hasn't touched their files.
Wow.
5,000. It was 4,000 something, but almost 5,000 of those people bringing all that harm to the community, killing kids and drive-bys and stray bullets and things like that, and just causing chaos because the DA was too lazy. Yeah, exactly.
It's so true.
But I mean, that's crazy to me. And she was a Soros-funded DA, but just quit. I think just gave up on it because a lot of pressure was coming out. Because before New Orleans just took the crown for this, St. Louis was the #1 murder capital of the United States, I believe. And now New Orleans just took it over within the last couple years or something like that.
Yeah. I really don't know what to think at this stage because like I said, I don't know whether we're going to be like heading for the hills in 2 years or whether we're going to be able to be like, all right, this is going to be able to be restored some. I don't know because
I think there's hope. I feel like there's a lot of Gen Z. I read this not too long ago. A surprising amount of Gen Zers are picking up flip phones because they don't like the garbage from the smartphones and stuff like that, and they're regressing in that sense on purpose to just get the garbage out of their lives and get the garbage out of the generation. That gives me hope. I was surprised.
That's actually pretty smart.
Yes. I was really surprised by that. And I have seen.
What was the stat on this?
I don't know what the stat. It was just
Jeff, look this up. See if there's anything about this.
Buying a
Gen Z.
Yeah, Gen Zs are
switching to
a
flip
lot
phones.
of people are switching to flip phones because of just the garbage.
Pull that up, Jamie.
Remember those?
Nokia.
That
game Snake, man. That was a fun game on that.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that game.
Snake was the jam on that little thing.
You just brought back a memory.
I remember when it was like a certain amount of cents per text message, like 13 cents or 39 cents or something. And I texted with my girlfriend all day on my dad's phone. Boy, he was mad. In North America, the market for dumb phones.
Wow.
Is pretty much flatlined, said Moorhead, but I could see it getting up to 5% increase in the next 5 years, if nothing else, based on public health concerns that are out there. Companies like Punked and Light are catering to the trend, selling devices geared towards those with desire to spend less time on their phones.
In 2022, almost 80% of feature phone sales in 2022 came from the Middle East, Africa, and India, according to the Counterpoint research, but some see the numbers shifting as a contingency of young people in the U.S. revert back to dumb or minimalist phones. In North America, the market for dumb phones...
Yeah, okay, so it looks like they're just wondering about if it might. It doesn't seem like they're saying that it is. But what I will say is there is a lot of millennials and Gen Zers that are seeing the lies for what they are.
Oh, there he is.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Brett the King Pike.
All right, I love it.
Yeah, so we've been talking about all kinds of stuff, but we've just watched the video of the trans person at the White House showing off her her boobs or his boobs or however that works. You know, on the White House lawn while the gay flag is hung above the American flag.
During a presidential, this is
not the gay flag, the pride flag. Sorry.
During a presidential event, it wasn't just somebody like you. There's plenty of people that go in front of the White House and do something obscene or stand on the flag. They always are doing that stuff. But the fact that it was at a presidential event and people were just filming it and no, that's acceptable. We're applauding it.
Right.
Drives me. I can't believe that.
Yeah. Well, and then we're talking about some of the worst crime cities and all that. And we were talking about earlier how useless like the American degree system is and how basically we can't even think about like spending thousands and thousands of dollars on a degree today, or even going through public school, which is perfect that we're bringing you on today, Brett, because you run something called Homeschools Connected. And why don't you just tell people who haven't heard about this yet, kind of how you started doing that and why, and just tell us a little bit about it, dude.
Yeah, well, it's outrageous enough that they do this stuff at the White House, but it's even worse that they do these things in public schools all over the United States of America. I mean, you just look at the books that are in the library and the things that they're teaching elementary school students. There's no question that these schools have really it's bad enough they were indoctrination centers. We all knew they were already that, but now America's realizing these are child grooming centers. And because of that, people are pulling their children out of public school at record numbers. And if you go back to March of 2020, there were 3 million homeschoolers in the United States of America. Well, now there's over 12 million. And as someone who runs a homeschooling company, I have a very unique perspective, a very unique view into how this is playing out. And I am getting calls every single day from parents who are fed up. They are not going to take it anymore.
Do you get anyone from the from like the leftists or from a more liberal background? Just curious, calling you.
Well, interestingly enough, not as much, but these
I'm just curious. Yeah.
School events and these type of people are very scared of guns. For anyone that knows me, by the way, I wrote a book literally called "The Right to Bear Arms." Whenever these school events take place, I actually get an influx of leftists that, my God, these schools aren't safe because of the guns. I need to pull my kids out. And I'm like, all right, I don't know, you're going to like what I teach them about guns. So,
gotcha.
Interesting. So you started this homeschooling company primarily so that what you could, because you were a teacher, weren't you?
Yeah, my background is in the field of education. I worked in the schools, master's degree in special education, bachelor's degree in history education system, and I saw what was actually happening from a teacher's perspective. I knew back then, and that was before I had kids, that I was never going to send my to these institutions. I mean, you get in the teachers' lounges, and the things they talk about would be disgusting. I mean, the teachers would literally talk about what students were wearing, and you're like, you're a teacher, and these are children, and it's really inappropriate. They would be disparaging towards the children. They would call them dumb, and what the institution is, right? And I remember being in a 9th grade, and I was in an inner city in New York, and I looked at the class and I said, who can show? And no one answered. And at first I just thought, all right, they don't want to answer. And that it wasn't that they didn't want to answer. It was that an entire classroom of 9th inner city, these are black students, had not been taught where Africa was. And that's the level of failure that is happening. What is the standard? And the children, they get dumb, and because of that, they start acting out as class clowns because they'd rather get laughs than look. That becomes the cool thing, where it creates this culture of, oh, you read, you're a nerd, you're a loser. Why would any parent want their child to be in that environment, which is an anti-intellectual, and then on top of it, they're, teaching them to be gay. So
yeah, that's icing on the top. You're dumb and gay now too.
Oh my gosh.
Well, so guys, if you haven't connected yet with Homeschools Connected, there's going to be a link in my bio. Make sure you guys click that thing, get connected with these guys. There is so much that's on this website. Brett, tell us a little bit about what people can have access to if they're connected with this program, dude, because it's got so many components to it. Me and my wife looked at it the other day, but so just kind of briefly go over it with people if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, it's what the public school system is doing or isn't doing. but it's another thing to actually can empower people's children to grow up and live a free and independent life. That, and when I end my videos, I always say education worthy of freedom. What that means is educating a child. Are they capable of living independently when they're 18 years old? Are they earning a living? And to do that, and by the way, if that's the bar, if that's the 9% of public schools in America fail their students on that bar, because they're
on what bar?
not ready when they're 18. The bar of, are the students ready to live a free and independent life? And most 18-year-olds, even if they're A students, if you were to throw them out into the world, they don't know, they've never done anything entrepreneurial. They're not taught how to survive, but to thrive in the world. And if you want that for your children, you start young, and you 3 primary points. And I beat this like a dead drum to the people in our community, because if you focus on your children will be ready. You want critical thinking. I used to repeat that. Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. That doesn't mean it's something. But can you get back to primary documents? When you study science, rather than repeating, do you actually know the scientific method? Have you actually practiced the scientific method between what has been tested and what is authority? Critical thinking. Analyze the world around you. So we want critical thinking over memorization. We want, somewhere a generation ago, these geniuses at the Department of Woodworking, home ec, children don't need to know these things. We don't. And engineers and people with actual skills that can do real things in the real world, that free a person. You need one skill, and it will liberate you from having to rely on other people. Focus on skills. Art, music, carpentry, engineering, skills you could develop in your children. Photography, videography, these are great skills these days. You pair that with the third component of their education, which is of an entrepreneur. A crazy idea, not raising them to be in the rat race, but to actually take for their lives. So let's say your child shows an interest in photography. Well, what you do is photography, and then you challenge your child. This semester is to start a small photography business. What does that look like? Find people take photos. So make flyers, put them in your neighbor's box, because people say that's a felony. Right? All right. So put them on your neighbor's door. Have out to the people that, your family members and friends. Hey, this is business, and we're doing Christmas photos, right? And then they start a little photography business, and then from maybe they want to run with it, maybe they don't. If they love it, you could start having them take classes and learn about and all of these different skills that could benefit them. And then what you're doing is you're actually stacking skills, you're developing their mindset, and your real world. And these are the components of an education worthy of freedom. On top of it, we want them to be able to see past all of the manipulation, right? We want them to call systems thinkers rather than reactive thinkers. And when I talk about that, it is everything that happened after March of 2020. Where Bill Gates good, Bill Gates bad, Fauci good, Fauci bad. It's another thing. Your children how the industry of medicine works from a systems complex. So what you do is you start to teach them what lobbyists are. What is a lobbyist? Who is a lobbyist that went to prison and then spilled the beans, so to speak, on what lobbyists actually do. What do lobbyists do? How can you track lobbying money? Right? You can go to sites like Open, and you could actually track lobbying money by industry, and you can say, wow,
Man, you're saying so much good shit.
I know.
You're,
I'm like,
you're saying,
wait. Let me.
you're saying so much good stuff right now, bro. I feel like the world needs to be involved in this thing. And there's just no like practical anymore. There's nothing practical about what you learn. Like Johnny, like remember when me and you were in school, it was like Johnny has 7 melons and then his friend wants 4 melons. And it's just like, all right, any of these examples, number one, you only need about 6th grade math in order to be able to do a lot of revenue generation if you have the right ideas, which we were talking about this earlier, Brett, before you jumped on. We were talking about how if somebody did 4 years at a regular college or did 3 months with me, I could teach them to make 6 figures in that 3 months and significantly cheaper than what they would have to pay for a 4-year degree and 4 of your freaking years, dude, in order for you to come out of that making $55K somewhere, if you happen to even land a job. But either way, it's just, like I would go to school for 6 months to learn how to make $1 billion because I feel like that's totally possible. You know what I mean? Like it's not even that hard. It's all about knowledge, man. Once you can figure out how to do things and then practically accomplish them and then repeat the pattern, you're fine.
Also money knowledge, which is what I was going to ask you, Brett. Do you do money knowledge? Like I think a lot of times spending habits, you can give people $5 million a year. If they're not fiscally sound or fiscally smart, I guess you could say, it's going to be for nothing. That $5 million per year is going to be gone and they'll end up broke. Look at how many athletes, NBA players, NFL players who end up dead broke because they didn't manage their money correctly. And school doesn't teach us this. Public schools don't teach us this. Most of us had to learn outside of it and sometimes hard lessons.
Right. Buy assets. Go ahead, Brett.
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked this question, and I'm going to answer it in 2 parts. Is the entrepreneurial side of it. And Ross was kind of just touching on this, where if you work with Ross, you know how to make money. Well, what we do is from the time children are little, we encourage parents to get their children some entrepreneurial experience the time they're 5 years old. And when they're little, that can look like a lemonade stand. And embedding entrepreneurial guidance into our lesson plans. So the plans we recently did was a very simple assignment of guiding the bath bombs. And that was part of our health swab series where studying the toxic chemicals that are in everyday products. And then they're making their own products as they learn to learn, not the horror, but we show them, hey, these chemicals aren't good for you, but here's the alternative. So then within making those bath bombs, we actually provide how to then take those bath bombs and actually sell them. And we do that with a lot of different lessons. We do one lesson where the students actually make wood and paint, and then we show them how to sell that American flag on sites like Etsy. So the first side of that is getting your children. This week, actually, we're rolling out our brand new, and I'm so excited about it, financial sequence or course for elementary school students. Now is we're building it up from as early an age as possible, teaching these students financial literacy so that they understand the language of money, difference between passive income versus active income, and all of these different concepts. And we're going to build up, right? So we're starting with teach financial literacy as if it's a core subject, as if it's math, as if it's science, but something that's relevant to all of us, so that by the time our children are 18, they have such an education literacy that they know how to invest in the stock market. They know how to do all these things because they were little kids. Hey, there's a crazy idea.
Even just to understand it, it would be so helpful to just to explain it. We were talking about, didn't even know how an actual mortgage worked until I was in my 30s. We should have had that in our schools. Like, simple. How to write a check, opening up a savings account, You know, you usually learn that from like a family member or something. And not everybody has literate family members, financially literate family members.
I would say most people don't. Most people's family, like, dude, everything's autopilot today. Mentally, everything's autopilot. It's like, what can I get the YouTube video about real quick so that I can actually go remember how to do this thing or something? Like, I can't tell you how many very important attributes that I need to remember are in a saved folder in my Instagram account. Like, I want to save this information for later so I can go look at it. But it would be really good to just know it, you know?
Right.
This is the stuff that everybody kind of needs to know about, like, the situation of the world. Like, what, you know, if you were going on waters, you would want to have a map and you'd want to know how to, but because everybody's so protected in this country before you're 18, it actually cripples you from being independent. You know, like, there's like my wife, she's really funny because she's a survivor, man. She was like, I was balancing checkbooks when I was in the 3rd grade, Ross. Like, that was her.
Wow.
Like, she carried a baseball bat in her bedroom, and in case something happened at night, she did all of her dad's like billing for horses and stuff like that for their shots and everything for an entire like slew of animals at like 9-10 years old.
Wow.
Because he was like, this is on you or they're gonna die. And she was like, oh, you know, like, and so like she basically had to get it together. And it's funny when you make a kid like get it together, they can get it together. And we like professionally make them weak and stupid for so long.
Right. Because it's like, I think we almost do the thing where it's like, do what you want a little bit too much. Do what you want. You need to still have discipline. I feel like we're not disciplining kids for really anything. Like, as far as the law, like if they're considered a teen, like they go and wreak havoc on communities and things like that because they don't want to punish them too much or treat them like an adult when it comes to certain levels. And even at school and stuff like that, like they're passing them like we were talking about. Like, that's why I asked about the No Child Left Behind, is because they were passing kids through who really shouldn't have been going to the next grade. They needed to repeat, but it's because we need to have this facade and no, look, we're graduating these people. See, they're doing great.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to change your perspective about how children should be educated, and any parent can do this activity, plan a garden box for your child, and then plan it out. Do we need? How much money will it cost? You do the math. What can go outside? It could be a tiny garden box. You know, it could be a garden box, or you can do a bigger one. Build a garden box with them. Have them do construction. Do some research. What seeds do you want to plant? What plants go well together, right? We'll do tomatoes, we'll do basil, we'll do peppers. Get the seeds, set up the soil, plant, and take care of them over the course of the summer. You could make at-home fertilizer out of eggshells. You could learn about photosynthesis, learn about soil biology.
And this is all in your homeschooling group already. You've got these curriculums laid out already so people can go through this, right?
Oh yeah, this is part of our year-long nature unit study members do. And they don't only just do these activities, but there's actually entrepreneurial pathways actually built in to the unit study where they host at the end of the summer. But before they do that, they make at-home fertilizer, they learn about soil biology.
Isn't that cool?
I was gonna, I don't want to interrupt him, but I've done this, right, with my son, but I didn't even think of something very important that you mentioned is the money, starting with and doing the calculations as like a lesson in it. Didn't even do that. I really like that you have that in the actual plan, just this little example that you're giving us, because I didn't even think of that. Because they always say, you read magazines and articles online. It's like, start a garden with your kid. But I never thought of that. Like, oh yeah, like here we have this $20 bill. We need to get what we can with this, or let's go add up and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's such a good point about it. And building the box. So that is almost like a little... helps with those motor skills and building.
The project.
Right.
Oh, and my box is breaking. I didn't do it the right way. Well, you
Yeah.
should have made sure you fastened it the right way.
Right. Yeah. No, I really love
Or you're going to
this.
lose all your money.
What's your
You're going to lose all your money.
Instagram again?
Classical learner.
Okay.
John Taylor Gatto was this famous teacher of the year, 1988, 1989, 1990. And then he abruptly resigned paper about how he could no longer partake in a system that was structured to dumb children down. And he went on to writing a book called Dumbing Us in America Should Read. And it talks about the 7 hidden lessons. One lesson is that truth comes from authority. The number 2 lesson is that you should outsource. Everything's out of context. So he has these lessons, and when he talks about everything being out of context, mathematics, like what does surface area mean to a child? Well, if you have them build, and this is one of the things that we do, and then you have them calculate how much surface they have inside that garden box, because they need to know that information to figure out the plant and how far apart they plant them. Now you've taken that concept that is completely out of context, that they would become indifferent to, put it in context, and now it means something. Now, okay, this is why I want to know how to calculate, and I'm going to do it now because I'm going to figure out how many seeds I could put in this garden box. Hands-on learning and doing real things in the real world versus sitting them down in a class. I don't want to be there, and a terrible culture of anti-intellectualism.
Yeah, dude, I love that. I think this is important for everybody. And guys, click the link in my bio if you want to jump in to Classical Learner and start getting interested in this and starting to go through some of the curriculum yourself with your family and them. There's a great link in there. It'll take you through everything. It's worth it. It's amazing. It's super cheap, dude. Because you would think if somebody could learn this much stuff, maybe, I don't know, $75, $80 a month. I mean, you're talking about the education of your kids.
I was going to say, yeah, people pay
like
way
$300,
more.
$400 a month seems to be normal. Dude, he's doing this for $15 a month.
That's
so that people can have full access, man. What a freaking win. Brett, we love it, man. Love having you on.
This is the fastest growing grassroots freedom movement in history. And what my company is doing that is different than all the other companies, but we are based in freedom. We are based in the real world, and teaching them the things that we as parents are really passionate about, like from a systems level, like we talked about earlier. What is the medical industrial complex, the banking industrial complex? Like Ross, you brought up the Federal Reserve Bank. I didn't learn about that. We learn about it with Classical Learner, that it was created in 1913, that called fractional reserve banking, in which they're loaning out money. The banks are that they don't need. The majority of money in America is actually created through us. When you go to take out a mortgage, and the bank writes you that check for the mortgage, that's not money. That's something our children need to understand. So we are making it everyone in America, and that's 15 for a family. It's not per child. Everyone in America can do our.
Oh, that's awesome.
Giving everyone the tools so that we can take. If you sign up through the link that I gave Ross, because I gave Ross a special link, you get a 3-day free trial, so you could actually go in there. You can see what I'm talking about, including the courses that I teach myself, courses on American Revolution. Not, we have these rights, but why we have these rights. Because in Concord, when Paul Revere wrote and said, the redcoats are coming, the redcoats are coming. What leaves out is they were coming under order from King George to confiscate all. Well, that's why the Second Amendment is relevant. So the courses that I teach on the American Revolution, on the United States Constitution, where we go over article by laws are made, what the process of impeachment is, what a constitutional amendment is, so they can actually understand where their rights come from, things as a tool. Courses on logical thinking. I tell you, using the Cubs to Bears children's book series that I wrote myself. I mean, these courses are way more than the $15 to pay for them. And then on top of it, we have the K through 12. I said we've been building out for 18 months. Don't get me wrong. We don't cover everything in there, and you see what we do cover and how unique it is. You will not regret something that costs less than the price of a Netflix. And like I said, through that Ross link, it has to be that I created for this show I was coming on. You get the 3-day free trial. See, wow, you know what? We can educate our kids better, and we can get them ready to not only on them, but we can give them that education worthy of freedom and get them ready to crush by years old.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Dude.
That just gave me patriotic goosebumps.
I like it, man. We'll end on that. The patriotic goosebumps.
Yeah, it got me excited. I was like, I want to take it. I want to take the course.
Yeah. Me and you need to do a Zoom together where I can get perfect recording of you basically saying all this, because we can create content for you too, for you to be able to use in the future. But Brett, appreciate you coming on, dude. Appreciate what you're doing. Excited to work with you and to help you get a lot of these things up and running, hopefully kicking ass. I mean, it's already pretty much done. I just want everybody to know about it now.
Man, thanks for having me. I got to have that chili sandwich.
Yeah, dude. Sloppy Joe. Sloppy Joe's. Look it up, bro. Try it and text me how good it was,
Just
man.
think of the president. You'll be fine. Sloppy Joe.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on, Brett. We'll see you next time, brother.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Education's so important. That's why we homeschool.
Right.
I don't want my kids to be stupid, man. I don't want you to know things and not know things.
Right.
You know?
Well, it's all now. Even the private schools suck. Like one of the most expensive ones here, I think it's called Cape Henry, openly teaches about like communism. Somebody sent me a screenshot of their daughter's assignment on why the thievery and the looting from BLM was actually justified, and that it is actually a good form of reparation.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The most expensive private school in this area.
Wow.
It's like $40K a year or something crazy like that to send your kid there. Something crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Could you imagine the parents that made enough money off of the capitalist system hearing about that and then being totally unmoved? So funny.
The irony.
So terrible. So normal. Guys, we'll see you next time on the Ross DeVos Show.